Imagine walking down a peaceful road on a calm morning. The air is fresh, the trees are gently swaying, and everything seems right. But then, out of nowhere, someone throws a stone. It doesn't leave a visible scar, but it hits you hard. Not on your body, but in your heart. Imagine carrying that wound all day. Imagine it affecting how you speak, how you think, and even how you treat others. Now ask yourself, how many times has someone hurt you with words, silence, betrayal, or rejection? And how many times have you carried that hurt in silence, pretending it didn't matter, even though it did? What if the pain you're feeling has nothing to do with the person who caused it, but everything to do with how you respond to it? What if your suffering isn't coming from outside, but from within? Can pain be transformed into strength? Can ancient wisdom really show us how to stop hurting from what others say or do? The answer lies in a quiet, gentle path that has helped millions across centuries, the path of Buddhism. Take a simple example. Someone at work makes a rude comment. You replay in your head for hours. You feel small, angry, maybe even ashamed. That person forgot it the next minute, but you didn't. This is how most pain works. It stays not because it was given, but because it was held. Welcome to Wisdom Writings, where we explore the deep answers to life's hardest questions using timeless Buddhist teachings. If you've ever been hurt or are still holding on to pain, this journey is for you. Please like this video, share with someone who needs peace, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to our channel for more content that truly matters. Let's grow together. And to stay calm and positive throughout this journey, comment Namo Buddhari below. Let this be your first step toward healing. The teachings of the Buddha show us that pain is part of life, but suffering is optional. Emotional wounds may be invisible, but their effects are real. Buddhism invites us to see clearly, not just with the eyes, but with awareness. It teaches that we can end the cycle of hurt, not by changing others, but by transforming ourselves. In the next parts, we'll dive deeper into why people hurt each other, how karma plays a role, and how you can find peace even when others try to disturb it. For now, just remember, you're not weak for feeling hurt. You are human, and there's a way to heal. The root of all hurt, ignorance, attachment, and aversion. In the quiet stillness of the mind, there is a truth that few of us ever stop to notice. We often look outside ourselves for the cause of our pain. We blame the world, the people around us, or the circumstances we find ourselves in. But in reality, the root of all hurt lies not in what happens to us, but in how we respond to it. This response, this way of reacting, has deep roots in what the Buddha called ignorance, attachment, and aversion. Let's pause and think about these three words for a moment. Ignorance, in this context, does not mean a lack of knowledge. It refers to the ignorance of our true nature and the nature of reality. We are often unaware of the patterns within our own minds, the way our thoughts take us on wild journeys, causing us to react in ways that harm ourselves and others. We are unaware of the deeper truth that everything in life is impermanent. People change, situations change, and yet we expect them to remain the same. When we resist this change, we suffer. In everyday life, think about the times when someone does something that hurts you. Perhaps they say something rude, or maybe they ignore you when you were expecting attention. The first thing that happens is that we react. We feel hurt, angry, frustrated. Why? Because in that moment, we don't understand that these feelings are temporary, that they're just passing clouds in the sky of our minds. Instead, we latch onto them. We attach to them as if they are permanent. The moment someone says something hurtful, we take it personally. We think that what they said defines us. We believe that their words, their actions, are somehow a reflection of who we are. But this is where the ignorance lies. The truth is, the words or actions of others have nothing to do with our true selves. They only have power over us when we allow them to. We forget that we have the ability to step back and choose how we respond, rather than simply reacting from a place of hurt and attachment. Attachment is the second cause of suffering. We are attached to our ideas of how things should be. We are attached to people, to situations, to our own version of reality. This attachment creates expectations. Expectations that life should unfold in a certain way, that people should treat us the way we want to be treated, that the world should always be fair. But life doesn't work like that. People are flawed. Situations are unpredictable. The world doesn't owe us anything. When we hold on to these expectations and attachments, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And it is in this disappointment that the hurt begins. Think about the times you felt betrayed or abandoned. That feeling of being let down doesn't come from the person who hurt you, but from your own attachment to an idea or belief that things should have been different. We want control. We want certainty. But the truth is, life is fluid, ever-changing, and we have no control over what others do or say. Then there is aversion, the opposite of attachment. We push away the things we don't want to face. We push away the pain, the hurt, the discomfort. We try to escape it, ignore it, deny it. But in doing so, we only create more suffering. When we resist pain, we make it stronger. When we avoid facing our emotions, we trap ourselves in a cycle of denial, and that only causes more internal turmoil. Think about how often we avoid the pain of a difficult conversation, the discomfort of vulnerability, or the struggle of forgiveness. We push these things away, hoping they'll go away on their own. But they never do. They linger in the background, quietly eating away at our peace. In Buddhism, we are taught that suffering is a natural part of life, but it is not something we need to hold on to. The more we attach ourselves to things, the more we push away our feelings, the more we cling to our desires, the more we increase our suffering. But here's the liberating part: awareness. By becoming aware of our ignorance, our attachments, and our aversions, we begin to break the cycle of hurt. Let's take a moment to reflect on the times you've been hurt. What was the root of it? Did you attach to something that wasn't real? Did you resist something that was uncomfortable but necessary? Did you react in a way that wasn't in line with your true nature? The first step in healing is not to change the world around us. It's to change the way we see the world. Instead of reacting in anger or frustration, we can choose to pause, take a breath, and step into the space of awareness. We don't have to hold on to our pain. We don't have to attach to it. We don't have to push it away. We simply need to observe it without judgment. In that moment of awareness, we realize that we have a choice. We can choose to respond with compassion instead of anger, with understanding instead of judgment. We can choose to see the pain of others, not as something to be feared or avoided, but as a part of the human condition. Everyone experiences suffering in some form or another. And everyone, at some point, will hurt others, either intentionally or unintentionally. But just because someone causes us pain, it doesn't mean we have to let it define us. When we understand that pain is not something to be avoided or clung to, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of suffering. We realize that the root of hurt lies within us, not in what others do, but in how we react. And once we understand this, we have the power to change. The Buddhist teachings are simple, but they are profound. By becoming aware of our ignorance, attachment, and aversion, we begin to heal. We begin to see that the true source of suffering is not external. It is within us, in the way we relate to the world and the people around us. And when we change the way we relate to our own pain, we begin to transform it. This is not an easy path, but it is a path of liberation. It is a path that frees us from the endless cycle of hurt, anger, and disappointment. And it is a path that leads us back to our true nature, a place of peace, compassion, and wisdom. In the next parts of this journey, we will explore how to practice mindfulness, how to develop compassion, and how to release the grip of attachment and aversion. But for now, take a moment to reflect. What have you been holding on to? What are you attached to? And how can you begin to let go, not of the world around you, but the way you see it? Healing begins with awareness. And once you have that, you can begin to transform the hurt into something beautiful. Karma and the chain of reaction. Why people hurt each other. Life is full of moments that challenge us, moments where others hurt us, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unknowingly. The pain can feel sharp, like a sting that lingers long after the moment has passed. But if we take a step back and look closely, there's a deeper question to ask. Why do people hurt each other in the first place? Why do we react the way we do? The Buddha spoke often about the law of karma. We hear the word karma thrown around, but it is much more than a simple concept of cause and effect. Karma is a force that shapes not only our actions, but also the emotions and experiences that arise in response to those actions. It's a web of interconnectedness, a cycle of energy that starts with one thought, one word, or one action, and spirals outward. When someone hurts you, it is often the result of their own karma at play. It doesn't mean you deserve the hurt, but rather, their actions are the product of their own mind, shaped by their past experiences, their beliefs, and their own unresolved pain. Just as you may hurt others when you are suffering, others may do the same when they are carrying their own burdens, fears, or misunderstandings. The world, as the Buddha teaches, is full of ignorance. This ignorance doesn't mean that people are stupid, but that they are blind to the true nature of things. They act out of their own confusion, not understanding the harm they cause, or that they themselves are trapped in a cycle of their own making. In this way, the chain of hurt continues, one person hurting another, and that hurt passed on in different ways. Think about it. Have you ever hurt someone without fully realizing how deeply it affected them? Or, in a moment of anger, said something you regretted later, not realizing that your words could leave scars on the heart of another? In the same way, those who hurt you are often acting out of their own unresolved pain and confusion. The Buddha's teachings reveal that this chain of reaction can be broken, but not by blaming others or wishing for them to change. The only way to break free from the cycle of hurt is to look at the deeper forces at play. When we experience hurt, we are often reacting from our own place of attachment, expectations, and emotions. Our mind, influenced by past experiences and beliefs, reacts automatically. This is why the Buddha taught that suffering is a result of attachment and aversion. Our desires for things to be a certain way, and our aversion to what we don't want. Karma isn't just a passive force that happens to us. It's an active force that we participate in with every thought and action we take. Every time we react to pain with anger or resentment, we are feeding the cycle. Every time we hold on to grudges or try to take revenge, we are deepening the roots of our own suffering. The Buddha shows us that peace is not found by changing the behavior of others, but by transforming ourselves. When someone hurts you, it can be difficult to see the situation from his perspective. The immediate reaction is often one of anger or hurt, and that's completely natural. But the key to healing is to recognize that the hurtful actions of others are not the cause of your pain. The cause is how you respond to them. In this sense, we hold the power to end the cycle of pain, not by waiting for others to change, but by changing how we see and respond to the world. In every moment, we are making choices about how we react. Even in the face of hurt, we have the ability to choose compassion over resentment, understanding over judgment, and peace over anger. It's not easy, of course. It takes practice, awareness, and a deep understanding that we are all connected through this web of karma. But the Buddha showed us that by practicing mindfulness, we can step back from our reactions and see things as they truly are. When we do this, we can begin to break the cycle. One of the most powerful practices in Buddhism is to cultivate metta, or loving kindness. This practice involves wishing for the well-being and happiness of others, even those who may have hurt us. It is a radical act of love and compassion, and it can change everything. When we wish for others to be free from suffering, we free ourselves from the chains of resentment and bitterness. We stop allowing the actions of others to control our emotions, and instead, we take charge of our own peace. Think about how different your life could be if you practiced metta in every situation. Instead of reacting with anger when someone cuts you off in traffic, you could wish them peace and safety. Instead of holding on to grudges when someone says something hurtful, you could remember that they are also struggling in their own way and send them love from a distance. This doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior, but rather releasing the emotional grip that it has on you. Karma is a powerful force, but it is also an opportunity for transformation. Each action we take, each thought we entertain, can either deepen our suffering or bring us closer to liberation. When we stop feeding the cycle of hurt and instead choose compassion, we begin to create a new path. The Buddha taught that it is through understanding the nature of karma that we can break free from suffering and begin to heal, not just ourselves, but the world around us. The next time someone hurts you, remember this. Their actions are a reflection of their own inner world, not a reflection of who you are. You have the choice to respond from a place of wisdom and compassion, or to fall into the cycle of hurt and anger. The more we practice awareness and choose to respond with love, the more we transform our own karma. And in doing so, we help heal the world one moment at a time. Karma, as the Buddha teaches, is not a punishment or a reward. It is simply the natural law of cause and effect. But just as a seed grows into a tree, every action we take has consequences. If we want to create a world of peace, we must first create peace within ourselves. And that begins with understanding karma, not as a force that happens to us, but as a force that we can shape with our actions, thoughts, and intentions. By recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings, we can begin to understand that when one person suffers, it affects us all. The Buddha teaches that true freedom comes not from getting others to behave in a certain way, but from transforming ourselves. And in doing so, we help heal the world one step at a time. In the end, it's not the actions of others that define us, but how we choose to respond. When we respond with wisdom, compassion, and understanding, we create a new karma, one that leads to peace, freedom, and love for all beings. The mirror of mindfulness, seeing pain without judgment. Pain, whether emotional or physical, can feel overwhelming. It can seem like a storm that clouds your vision, leaving you unable to see clearly. You become tangled in your thoughts, struggling to make sense of why things hurt. But what if I told you that there's a way to look at pain, not as a curse, but as an opportunity? In Buddhism, we talk a lot about mindfulness, being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It's like holding a mirror up to your mind, and instead of reacting immediately to what you see, you simply observe. Pain isn't something to push away or deny. It's something to notice, feel, and understand. And when you truly see it for what it is, it loses its power over you. Let's say you've just been hurt by someone. Perhaps their words sting or their actions cut deep. What's the first thing you want to do? Most likely you'll want to react, maybe lash out, maybe shut down. But in the moment, try something different. Pause. Instead of rushing to react, take a breath and simply be present with the emotion that's rising within you. Feel it fully, without judgment. This is mindfulness in action. You might wonder, but how can I be mindful of something that hurts so badly? The truth is, when you look closely, you realize that the pain you feel is not a permanent part of you. It's a wave that comes and goes. If you resist it, it gets stronger. But if you allow it to be, without adding more stories or labels to it, it can pass more quickly. In Buddhism, we understand that all things are impermanent. This includes your pain. It will come, but it will also go. The more you learn to observe it with mindfulness, the less control it has over you. You stop identifying with it. You no longer think, I am hurt, but instead think, I am experiencing pain. There's a subtle but powerful difference in that. One traps you in the emotion, the other sets you free. Mindfulness also helps you see the patterns in your reactions. For instance, when someone hurts you, do you often feel like you need to defend yourself? Or do you start to replay the hurt over and over in your mind? Through mindfulness, you become aware of these automatic responses and start to recognize that they're simply habits of the mind. You don't need to follow them. You can choose how to respond. Imagine you're standing by a calm lake, watching the water. If you throw a rock in, the water ripples and disturbs the surface. The more you throw rocks in, the more the water is disturbed. But if you stand still, the water becomes calm again. Your mind is like that lake. The more you react to every disturbance, the more restless it becomes. But if you stay still, observe without judgment, the disturbance settles on its own. This is the power of mindfulness in dealing with emotional pain. When someone hurts you, It's like they've thrown a stone into your calm lake. The waves of anger, sadness, and frustration start to rise. But instead of throwing more stones by reacting, you can allow the water to return to calm by simply being present with the feeling. The key is non-attachment. You are not the waves. You are the observer of them. This may sound simple, but in practice, it takes patience and consistency. It's not about controlling the pain or suppressing it, but about understanding that it doesn't define who you are. The pain is temporary. Your awareness of it, though, is something you can always hold on to. Through mindfulness, you can choose to see the pain as just another moment in the cycle of life, not as the end of it. And here's where mindfulness becomes transformative. When you no longer let pain define you, when you stop reacting to every emotional disturbance, you start to experience life with more peace and clarity. You see things for what they are, rather than through the lens of your hurt. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses. You begin to see that the world is not out to get you, but that pain is simply part of being human. By accepting it without judgment, you start to free yourself from its grasp. The beauty of mindfulness is that it opens the door to compassion. When you're not caught in your own pain, you can begin to see the pain of others with more empathy. You stop blaming them for how you feel and start to understand that they, too, are struggling with their own hurts. Just as you want freedom from your pain, they do as well. This is where forgiveness begins, not as something you do for others, but as a gift you give yourself. So, the next time someone hurts you, take a moment. Breathe. Step back and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Sit with that feeling without judgment. Don't try to change it. Don't push it away. Just be present with it. In that space of awareness, you will begin to realize that the pain is not as powerful as it seems. It's just another moment passing through. And with each moment that passes, you grow stronger, more resilient, and more at peace. Mindfulness doesn't erase pain, but it changes how you relate to it. It transforms your experience from one of suffering to one of learning. And in that learning, you find freedom. Freedom not from pain itself, but from the need to constantly react to it. You no longer live in the storm. You learn to watch it from distance, knowing that the clouds will eventually part and the sky will clear. So, remember, next time pain arises in your life, instead of resisting it or letting it control you, become the observer. Look at it with mindfulness. See it clearly, and in that clarity, you will find peace. Just like the calm lake, your mind, too, will settle if you allow it to. Letting go with wisdom. How Buddhism teaches release. Imagine, for a moment, that you are carrying a heavy backpack. In this backpack there are rocks. Big ones, small ones, sharp ones, and smooth ones. Some rocks represent the painful words people have said to you. Some are from moments of betrayal. Some are from things you've done wrong and feel guilty about. Some are the hurts you've held onto for years, even though they don't serve you anymore. Every day you carry this backpack, struggling under its weight. It slows you down, it takes up your energy, and it colors how you see the world. The pain from others feels real. The regrets from your past are heavy. And yet, the one thing you might not realize is that you have the power to decide. Do I keep carrying this backpack? Or do I put it down? This is where the wisdom of Buddhism can guide you. It teaches that letting go is not about forgetting the past or ignoring pain. Letting go doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's about releasing the emotional grip that pain has on you. It's about stopping the cycle of carrying it with you into every moment. The moment you stop carrying that weight is the moment you make space for peace. Buddhist teachings show us that all suffering arises from attachment. Attachment to things, to people, to expectations, and to outcomes. We attach to the idea that things should have turned out differently, or that people should have treated us a certain way. When these things don't align with our desires, we feel hurt. And then we hold on to that hurt, hoping that by carrying it, we can somehow find justice or comfort. But this is where we make a mistake. Think of attachment as a chain. Every time you hold on to anger, resentment, or past pain, you add another link to that chain. It gets longer, heavier, and harder to carry. But here's the secret. You can break the chain. The moment you decide to let go, You release the links one by one. You're no longer bound by the past, no longer imprisoned by your emotions. The wisdom of Buddhism invites you to understand that you do not need to hold on to the pain to justify your existence. Letting go does not erase the experience. It simply releases its power over you. Letting go is not easy. It's a process. Some days, it feels like you're making progress, and other days, the weight of the past seems unbearable. But remember, release doesn't happen all at once. It happens gradually, like slowly lightening a load. Over time, the backpack becomes lighter, and the freedom that comes with it is invaluable. But why is it so difficult to let go? Part of the reason is that we're conditioned to hold on to things. Our minds cling to negative experiences, replaying them over and over, trying to find meaning, justice, or resolution. We want to control outcomes, especially when we've been hurt. We think that by holding on to pain, we are somehow protecting ourselves from being hurt again. But this is an illusion. Holding on to pain only keeps us trapped in the past, unable to move forward into the present moment where peace can be found. Buddhism offers a different way, a way of understanding the impermanent nature of life. All things change. Pain changes. Joy changes. People change. Nothing stays the same forever, not even the moments of suffering. If you hold on to your pain, you're clinging to something that will eventually fade away. But if you learn to let go, you allow yourself to experience life as it is in the present moment, without the weight of the past dragging you down. So how do we let go? The answer lies in understanding the nature of attachment and impermanence. Buddhism teaches us to practice mindfulness, to be aware of our thoughts, feelings, and reactions without judgment. When you feel the urge to hold on to pain, pause and notice it. Observe it without trying to push it away or make it go faster. Just be aware of it. By simply being aware, you begin to loosen the grip of attachment. Another key practice in letting go is forgiveness. Not just for others, but for yourself. Often, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You may feel regret over your actions or wish you had done things differently. You may feel angry at yourself for allowing others to hurt you. But forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior or pretending nothing happened. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of guilt, shame, or self-blame. When you forgive yourself, you release the emotional burden that's been holding you back. You allow space for healing and growth. Forgiveness is an act of compassion. It's an understanding that you're not defined by your mistakes and that you deserve peace. And as you forgive yourself, you will find that forgiving others becomes easier too. Because in the end, holding on to anger and resentment only harms you. It doesn't change the other person. They continue their life while you remain stuck in the past. Letting go also requires acceptance of what is. This doesn't mean you have to like what happened, but it means accepting the reality of the situation. The pain you're holding on to is real, and the hurt others caused is real too. But the past cannot be changed. The only thing you can control is how you respond to it. When you accept the reality of what happened, you stop fighting against it. You stop adding more suffering by wishing things had gone differently. You allow yourself to heal by accepting things as they are. You might be thinking, but how do I truly let go? The answer lies in deepening your practice of mindfulness and meditation. When you meditate, you connect with the present moment. You observe your thoughts without attachment, letting them come and go like clouds passing in the sky. This practice helps you understand that thoughts and feelings are not permanent. They arise and fade away. You can allow them to exist without becoming them. In your meditation practice, you can also focus on cultivating loving kindness, metta, for yourself. This is not about loving yourself in a superficial way, but about embracing yourself with compassion, flaws, and all. When you love yourself in this way, you begin to see the beauty in your imperfections. You start to accept your pain as part of your journey, and in doing so, you create the space to release it. Letting go doesn't mean that you won't feel hurt anymore. It doesn't mean you won't have moments of sadness, frustration, or anger, but it does mean that you won't be controlled by these emotions. You will learn to experience them without allowing them to dominate your life. You will develop the strength to face your pain without running from it or holding on to it for dear life. It's important to remember that letting go is not a one-time event. It's a practice. Every day, you will have opportunities to release the past, to forgive, and to embrace the present. It takes patience and it takes courage. But with each moment of release, you become lighter, freer, and more at peace. This is the true power of Buddhism. It doesn't just give you a philosophy. It offers you practical tools to transform your life. Through mindfulness, meditation, forgiveness, and acceptance, you can learn to let go of the heavy backpack of pain and emotional baggage. You can walk through life lighter, with more joy and more peace. The road to release is not always easy, but it is worth it. Each step you take toward letting go is a step toward greater freedom and happiness. And with time, the weight of the past will no longer hold you back. You will find that the more you let go, the more you open yourself to a life filled with peace, joy, and clarity. Compassion without weakness, loving those who harm us. Imagine this: someone who deeply hurts you, perhaps with harsh words, maybe with a betrayal that leaves you stunned, comes before you. You feel a knot in your chest, a sharp pang in your heart. The natural response? Anger, frustration, maybe even a desire for revenge. You want them to feel the same pain you've been carrying. It seems only fair, doesn't it? After all, they wronged you first. But what if I told you that the true path to freedom is not in retaliation, but in love? Not in making them feel the pain you feel, but in using that very pain as a tool to soften your heart. This might sound strange, even impossible, but let me explain. Buddhism doesn't ask you to forget the harm done to you, nor does it suggest you let yourself be hurt over and over. Compassion, in the Buddhist sense, isn't about weakness. It's about recognizing the suffering in others and in yourself and responding with understanding, not violence. It's seeing beyond the actions of a person and acknowledging their own inner turmoil. Consider this: everyone who hurts others is themselves wounded. A person who lashes out is often suffering from their own pain, anger, fear, insecurity, or unmet needs. When someone yells at you or criticizes you, it's not necessarily about you. It's about their inner world. They are projecting their hurt onto you because they don't know how to handle their own feelings. Let's take an example. Think about a time when someone said something hurtful to you. Perhaps it was a remark that pierced you, or maybe it was an action that made you feel invisible. The immediate reaction is to protect yourself. Maybe you want to lash back, or you want to shut them out completely. But here's the thing. While you might feel justified in your reaction, the pain you carry from that moment will only harm you, not them. Think of it like this. If someone throws a stone at you, you have two options. You can either stand there and let the stone hit you, or you can create space between yourself and the stone. But the key is not to get caught up in the stone itself. The key is to understand that you are in control of whether you stand in the path of the stone or not. In life, people will continue to throw stones. Some will be intentional, some will be out of ignorance, and others may just be accidental. But if you have strong boundaries, those stones won't penetrate as deeply as they would if you had no sense of protection. It's about knowing where your limits are and calmly, with wisdom, asserting them. This doesn't mean you have to cut off all relationships or avoid every situation where you might get hurt. In fact, Buddhism teaches us the opposite. The middle way is about balance. It's not about running away from life's challenges, nor is it about being a doormat and accepting everything that comes your way. It's about responding to situations with mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. Setting boundaries can be an act of kindness, not only to yourself, but also to others. By establishing clear and healthy boundaries, you teach others how to treat you with respect. You show them where your limits lie, and in doing so, you are helping them grow just as you are growing. By doing so, you are showing them the path of compassion, where respect and love flow freely without the need for harm or conflict. But here's the tricky part. Often, we fear that if we set boundaries, we will be rejected, judged, or disliked. We fear that others will see us as selfish or weak. The truth is, boundaries are not about rejection. They are about protection. They're an act of self-care, an act of self-respect. And when we respect ourselves, we teach others to do the same. You might feel guilty at first, thinking, what if they think I'm being harsh? Or what if they don't understand? But Buddhism teaches us that we cannot control how others react. What we can control is how we respond. It's important to remember that setting boundaries isn't about making others wrong. It's about making sure that you're not losing yourself in the process. There will be moments when someone tests your boundaries. This is natural, as people sometimes don't recognize our limits, and sometimes they push us out of carelessness or habit. But in those moments, the wisdom of Buddhism encourages us to remain calm, centered, and mindful. It's not about getting angry or defensive. It's about recognizing the situation for what it is, a moment where you have an opportunity to gently and firmly assert your limits. When you set a boundary with love and compassion, you are not punishing others. You are protecting the peace within you. You're teaching them how to interact with you in a way that is healthy and respectful. And through this, you are also teaching yourself to stand firm in your values and your peace. The middle way in Buddhism is about not being too extreme. It's about finding that space where you're neither too passive nor too aggressive. In your relationships, this means learning to speak your truth without fear, but also without harshness. It means being gentle with yourself as you navigate the ups and downs of life, and finding balance in how you engage with others. When we speak our truth, we are not only protecting ourselves, we are also offering others the chance to be their truest selves. Setting boundaries with love doesn't mean closing people off. It means offering them the opportunity to meet you on equal ground, in a space where respect and understanding thrive. You see, boundaries are not about rejecting people. They're about creating space for a relationship to grow in a healthy way. When you create space for yourself, you create space for the other person to grow too. It's about the freedom to express who you truly are without the fear of being trampled upon or misunderstood. This is the beauty of the middle way. You don't have to be harsh to protect yourself. You don't have to be distant or cold to set boundaries. All you need is wisdom, compassion, and a deep understanding of your own needs and limits. As you begin to set boundaries in your life, remember that it is an ongoing practice. Some days will be easier than others. Sometimes, people will respect your boundaries right away, and other times, they may challenge them. But with time, patience, and mindfulness, you will become stronger in your ability to navigate these situations with grace and wisdom. The key is not to see boundaries as barriers, but as a way to nurture your own well-being and protect your peace. In the same way that a tree grows tall and strong by standing its ground, you too can stand firm in the face of life's challenges. And as you do, you will find that your inner peace becomes unshakable, no matter what the world throws at you. This is the power of the middle way, a way of living that allows us to protect our peace without closing ourselves off from the world. Boundaries are not about rejection. They're about loving ourselves enough to honor our needs, to honor our limits, and to walk through life with balance and wisdom. Through this, we find freedom, not in avoiding the storms, but in learning how to stand in them with strength and grace. The power of non-reaction, silence as strength. In life, we are often faced with situations where people hurt us. Maybe it's something they said, or something they did, or even something they didn't do at all. Sometimes, the hurt is small, like a passing comment. Other times, it's deep, leaving us shaken, questioning everything. But in the midst of this, there's a powerful choice we often forget to make, the choice not to react. Imagine this for a moment. Someone says something cruel to you. You feel the sting immediately, your heart races, and the anger begins to rise. It's like a wave crashing into you. You want to shout back, to defend yourself, to make them understand how much they hurt you. But in that moment, there's a deep breath. You hold yourself back. You choose not to react. Now, that might sound simple, but it's not easy. It goes against everything we've been taught about standing up for ourselves, about not letting people walk all over us. And yet, this is where the true strength lies, not in the reaction, but in the stillness of non-reaction. This is where silence becomes a shield, where your peace becomes unshakable, no matter how loud the world around you gets. When someone hurts us, our first instinct is often to fight back. We want justice, an apology, or some form of vindication. But Buddhism teaches us that all these desires are rooted in attachment and aversion, two powerful forces that keep us chained to suffering. The more we react, the more we feed those chains, making the pain linger longer and longer. The Buddha said that our suffering doesn't come from the world outside, but from the way we respond to it. When we react out of anger, frustration, or fear, we are only making the situation worse. We are, in fact, adding fuel to the fire that was already burning. But when we choose to respond with silence, with mindfulness, with calm, we take the power back. The person who hurt us no longer has control over how we feel. We do. There is a profound strength in this silence, in this non-reaction. It's not about being passive or weak. Far from it. It's about being strong enough to let go of the need to fight, to prove ourselves, to defend our honor. It's about knowing that our peace is worth more than the fleeting satisfaction of a heated argument. This silence is not a form of submission. It is a declaration of self-mastery. When you react to someone's hurtful words or actions, you're giving them a piece of yourself. You're allowing their negativity to become a part of your experience, even if you don't want it to. But when you choose not to react, you reclaim that piece of yourself. You keep it whole, undisturbed, and unshaken. You realize that no one can hurt you unless you let them. Think about it. How many times have you regretted something you said or did in the heat of the moment? How many times have you wished you could take back a word or an action that came from a place of anger or hurt? In those moments, your reaction was not coming from your true self. It was coming from the emotional pain that was clouding your mind. But when you choose not to react, you give yourself space to respond from a place of clarity, peace, and wisdom. This is why the practice of mindfulness is so crucial. Mindfulness is the ability to stay present with whatever is happening without being swept away by it. It's the awareness that allows you to see your emotions clearly, without judgment, and choose how to respond. When you are mindful, you can recognize the triggers within you, the anger, the sadness, the fear, and simply observe them without letting them control you. In Buddhism, we speak of the middle way, a path that avoids extremes, that seeks balance in all things. The middle way isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending nothing bothers you. It's about acknowledging the pain, but not letting it define you. It's about feeling your emotions without allowing them to dictate your actions. In this way, non-reaction is not about denying yourself, but about not being enslaved by the emotions that rise within you. When you master the art of non-reaction, you begin to see how much energy is wasted in the cycle of anger, frustration, and regret. Imagine how much peace you could have in your life if you stopped reacting to everything that hurt you. Think about the freedom and letting go of the need to control how others see you or how they treat you. In the end, their actions are not about you. They are about them. And your peace is about you. Your peace is your responsibility. At first, non-reaction may feel unnatural. It may seem like you're letting people get away with hurting you. But in truth, you are not letting them get away with anything. You're simply choosing to let go of the power they have over you. You are freeing yourself from the chains of emotional reactivity. And in doing so, you are walking a path toward greater freedom and happiness. There will always be people who hurt us, whether intentionally or not. That is part of life. But how we respond is what truly matters. If we constantly react with anger or resentment, we keep the cycle of hurt alive. But if we choose silence, if we choose peace, if we choose non-reaction, we break the cycle. We transcend the pain. And in that space of stillness, something beautiful happens. The pain begins to fade. It loses its grip on us. The more we practice non-reaction, the less power the world has over our inner peace. We learn that the key to healing is not in fighting the pain, but in letting it be. When we stop struggling with the hurt, we create the space for healing to naturally take place. You might wonder, does this mean we should never express our feelings? Does it mean we should just bottle everything up? No. Silence is not about suppression. It's about choosing when and how to speak, knowing that our words, like our actions, carry energy. When we respond from a place of calm and clarity, our words become more powerful, more meaningful, and more likely to heal rather than harm. When you practice non-reaction, you start to notice that the more you let go, the more peace you feel. It becomes easier to move through the world without being constantly triggered by every little thing. You begin to realize that you can walk through life unscathed by the negativity of others, not because you are impervious to it, but because you have learned how to rise above it. In the end, non-reaction is not about avoiding conflict or pretending everything is fine. It is about choosing peace over turmoil, calm over chaos. It is about recognizing that your inner peace is the most important thing you have, and that no one, not even the harshest words or actions, can take it away unless you allow them to. So the next time someone tries to hurt you, remember, you have the power not to react. You have the power to stay calm, to stay centered, and to choose silence over conflict. And in that silence, you will find your strength. The world will continue to throw its stones, but you will remain unshaken, rooted in the peace that comes from within. Healing the inner self, meditation, and mind training. Sit with me for a moment. Be still. Let's not rush. Let's just breathe. Close your eyes if you wish. Feel the breath as it enters through your nose and as it leaves. No need to change anything. Just watch. Watch it like a leaf floating down a quiet river. This is where healing begins, not in the noise of the world, but in the silence within. When someone hurts you, the first place it lands is the mind. Before your heart aches, before your tears fall, it touches the mind. And the mind, if not trained, grabs onto that pain and begins to build a story. They should not have said that. I don't deserve this. Why me? The mind repeats this story over and over again like a broken drum. And every time, the pain becomes deeper. Buddhism teaches that the untrained mind is like a monkey, restless, reactive, and easily distracted. When someone throws words like stones, the monkey mind picks them up, examines them, and throws them around until we are bruised from inside. But the trained mind? The trained mind sees the stone, acknowledges it, and lets it fall to the ground. It does not pick it up. So how do we train the mind? The Buddha gave us a tool so simple, yet so powerful, it can change everything. That tool is meditation. Meditation is not about escaping the world or stopping all thoughts. It is about making friends with your own mind. It is about sitting still, even when the mind is loud. It is about watching thoughts rise like bubbles and letting them pop without holding on to any. When we meditate, we learn something very important. We are not our thoughts. A thought like "they hurt me" may appear, but if we sit long enough, we see that the thought fades. Another one may come, and it fades too. The mind is like the sky, and thoughts are clouds. Some are dark, some are light, but none of them stay forever. When you're hurt, the mind creates hundreds of clouds, clouds of anger, fear, shame, revenge. But when you sit in meditation, you begin to see the blue sky again. The thoughts don't disappear right away, but you stop believing every one of them. Sometimes pain comes not just from what someone did, but from the way we keep repeating it in our minds. Meditation helps us break that loop. It teaches us to watch the mind instead of being caught in it. It creates a space, a small but sacred space, between what happens and how we respond. That space is everything. In that space, we can choose peace instead of anger, stillness instead of reaction, forgiveness instead of blame. Buddhist practice also includes a special kind of meditation called metta bhavana, the meditation of loving kindness. In this practice, you sit quietly and silently repeat words like, "May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering." Then you say for someone you love, "May they be happy." Then for someone neutral. Then, and this is the hardest, for someone who hurt you. It may feel impossible at first. Why should I wish happiness to someone who caused me pain? But remember, wishing someone peace does not mean accepting their wrong actions. It means releasing yourself from the prison of hate. When you send out loving kindness, it doesn't always change the other person, but it always changes you. It softens the tightness in your chest. It melts the knot of resentment. And slowly, it brings light to the darkest parts of your mind. Meditation is not a quick fix. It's like planting a seed. You sit, you breathe, you return to your breath every time your mind wanders. Day by day, the roots grow. You won't notice the change immediately. But one day, someone will try to hurt you. Then you'll realize you didn't react. You didn't hold on to it. You simply let it pass. That is the fruit of your practice. You begin to understand that healing is not about forgetting the pain. It is about not letting the pain control your life. Some days, you'll sit and feel calm. Other days, your mind will scream. Both are part of the path. Don't judge your meditation. Don't expect perfection. Just keep showing up. Every breath you take with awareness is a step towards healing. The Buddha himself faced insults, betrayals, and hatred. But he did not react with anger. He responded with wisdom. He taught his followers, like a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, so the wise are not moved by praise or blame. That calmness did not come from ignoring pain. It came from understanding it, from watching it, from not feeding it with more thought. The same peace is possible for you, but it starts within, not with changing others, not with punishing those who hurt you, but with sitting down, closing your eyes, and coming home to yourself. There's a story of a monk who carried a heavy bowl of water, and someone bumped into him. The bowl spilled. Another monk asked, "Why did the water spill?" He replied, "Because someone pushed me." The wise monk smiled and said, "No, the water spilled because there was water inside. If the bowl was empty, nothing would spill. So ask yourself, what's inside you? Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it peace?" Meditation helps you pour out what you no longer need and fill yourself with what heals. Even if you meditate for 5 minutes a day, just 5, you are watering the seed of awareness. You are telling your mind, "I see you. I'm here." That small act of attention is the beginning of freedom. Healing doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means no longer allowing it to poison your thoughts, your actions, your heart. Meditation gives you the space to breathe again, to live again, not as a victim of your pain, but as the master of your response. And so, as we move forward on this journey, remember, you already carry the medicine within you. The mind that feels pain is also the mind that can be trained. The heart that's been broken can also open wider than ever before. Sit, breathe, watch, heal. This is the Buddhist way. Not through force, not through blame, but through deep, patient, loving attention. We'll continue together. But for now, return to your breath. Let it be your home. Let it be your anchor. Let it be your healing. Turning pain into purpose, the Bodhisattva path. Pain, in its purest form, is a reminder of our shared humanity. It is unavoidable, inevitable, and often seems to come without warning. But what if we could change how we view this pain? What if, instead of seeing it as something to avoid or run from, we saw it as something that could teach us? What if our suffering could be transformed into something meaningful, something purposeful? In the teachings of Buddhism, there's a path that goes beyond personal healing, a path that invites us to take our pain and use it to help others. This path is known as the Bodhisattva path. A bodhisattva is someone who, having reached enlightenment, chooses not to enter nirvana right away, but instead returns to the world to help all beings find freedom from suffering. This is not an easy path. It requires courage, deep wisdom, and immense compassion. The Bodhisattva's journey is not about escaping pain, but embracing it, transforming it, and using it as fuel for compassion. The Bodhisattva sees the suffering of the world and decides, despite their own pain, to work toward ending that of others. Imagine a moment in your life when you were deeply hurt. It might have been by someone close to you or by someone who never truly understood you. The pain of that moment could have overwhelmed you, made you close off from the world, or built walls around your heart. But the Bodhisattva's perspective invites us to go a step further. Instead of closing ourselves off, we open ourselves to the world's suffering. Instead of becoming bitter or resentful, we allow our wounds to become the very source of our compassion. Think about the times in your life when you've struggled with something. It could be an emotional challenge, a loss, or simply the unfairness of the world. Those experiences often seem to isolate us, making us feel as though we're alone in our pain. But the Bodhisattva knows a secret. We are never alone in our suffering. The world is filled with others who are hurting, just as we are. Every person we meet carries their own burdens, and while the weight of their suffering might be different, the experience of pain is universal. The Bodhisattva path invites us to take that pain and share it. It doesn't mean you have to carry the weight of the world alone. It doesn't mean you ignore your own struggles. It means using what you've learned from your suffering to show compassion and understanding toward others. The more you understand your pain, the better equipped you become to help others heal. The more you learn to deal with your own wounds, the more you can help others find their way through theirs. This is where the real power of the Bodhisattva path lies. It's not about trying to make the pain disappear. It's about understanding it so deeply that it no longer controls you. When you stop fighting your own suffering and start embracing it, you realize that it has something to teach you. Pain is not an enemy. It's a teacher. And when you accept it, it can lead you to wisdom. From that wisdom, you can help others. This is how pain is transformed into purpose. In Buddhism, there's a saying, "May all beings be free from suffering." It's a prayer, an aspiration that reflects the heart of the Bodhisattva. It's a desire not just for one's own peace and happiness, but for the well-being of all. It's a reminder that the Bodhisattva's heart beats not just for their own healing, but for the healing of everyone they encounter. When you see someone suffering, instead of turning away, you turn toward them with kindness, understanding, and a willingness to help. This too is the Bodhisattva way. You might wonder, how can I possibly help others when I'm still dealing with my own pain? This is a common question, and it comes from the mistaken belief that healing has to be a perfect process. But healing is not about being perfect, it's about being human. And being human means that we experience joy and pain, success and failure, strength and weakness. The Bodhisattva path doesn't ask you to be free of pain before helping others. It simply asks you to share what you've learned in the midst of it. Think of a person who has experienced loss, someone who has been through what you've been through. You may not have the perfect words to say or the right advice to give, but what you do have is understanding. You know the depth of that pain, and that understanding can be more powerful than anything else. When someone feels understood, truly seen, it is healing in itself. Your pain, when shared with compassion, can become a source of comfort and solace for another. This is the paradox of the Bodhisattva path. The more you share your pain with others, the more it dissolves within you. The more you open your heart, the less it feels burdened. By making your life about helping others, your own suffering begins to lose its grip. It no longer holds you back because you have chosen to use it as a means to connect with others on a deeper level. Instead of letting it control you, you control how you respond to it. The Bodhisattva also teaches us about patience. We live in a world that demands quick fixes. We want solutions now, results now, relief now. But healing is not a quick process. It's a slow, steady unfolding. Sometimes, helping others heal is not about saying the right words or offering quick solutions. It's about simply being present with them, holding space for their pain without judgment or expectation. The Bodhisattva knows that real healing takes time, and that's okay. There's no rush. There's another key aspect to the Bodhisattva path: joy. It's easy to think that helping others heal means sacrificing our own joy. After all, we're taking on the weight of the world's suffering, right? But the Bodhisattva knows that true joy arises from selfless love and compassion. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you open your heart to the suffering of others, the more it fills with peace and joy. This is the beauty of the Bodhisattva's journey. The more you give, the more you become. And when you help others, when you offer your compassion and understanding, you create a ripple effect. Your act of kindness doesn't just heal one person, it touches many. It spreads out into the world in ways you may never fully understand. And that's okay. The Bodhisattva doesn't work for recognition or reward. They work simply because it is the right thing to do. They act out of love, not expectation. This is how pain transforms into purpose. When you understand your suffering, when you stop trying to hide it or run from it, you realize that it is not something that must be kept to yourself. It can be a gift that allows you to connect with others in a deep, meaningful way. A gift that allows you to understand others' struggles and offer them compassion. A gift that, in turn, brings you peace, joy, and freedom. The Bodhisattva path is not for the faint of heart. It requires strength, perseverance, and above all, love. But it is the most meaningful path you can walk. It allows you to turn every painful moment into an opportunity to heal, not just yourself, but the world around you. It teaches you that pain is not something to fear, but something to transform. And in that transformation, you find purpose. You find peace. You find the very essence of what it means to be human. Forgiveness as freedom, detaching from past. There is a story, an old Buddhist tale, that speaks of a man who carried a heavy burden. This man, much like all of us, had been wronged by others. He was hurt deeply, and that hurt stayed with him. He carried it for years. He could not move forward because every step was weighed down by anger, resentment, and sorrow. His life became a cycle of replaying the past, of holding onto every moment of hurt and every word that had wounded him. The memory of it all was always there, like a shadow he could not escape. But one day, the man met an old monk who saw the pain in his eyes. The monk said to him, "You are carrying something that is not yours to carry. You are holding on to the past, but the past no longer exists. The only place the past has is in your mind, and it is only there that it hurts you." The man looked at the monk, confused. "How can I let go of something that has hurt me so much?" he asked. The monk smiled and told him, "Forgiveness is not for the person who hurt you. It is for you. It is a gift you give to yourself. When you forgive, you're not excusing what was done to you. You're not saying it was right. You're simply letting go of the power that hurt has over you." The man listened carefully, but in his heart, he felt uncertain. How could forgiveness possibly free him? How could he let go of something that had been so painful? The monk then took a simple stone from the ground and handed it to the man. "Hold this stone," he said. "Hold it tightly and carry it for a moment." The man held the stone, feeling the weight of it in his hand. The monk continued, "Now, carry that stone all day long, wherever you go. Put it in your pocket. Keep it in your hand. Keep it with you at all times." The man nodded, unsure of what to say. The stone was heavy, but he agreed to do as the monk asked. The monk said, "After a day of carrying that stone, tell me what you feel." The man, weary from holding the stone, said, "I feel tired. My hand is sore. My whole arm aches. It is uncomfortable, and my back hurts from the weight." The monk then asked, "Now, imagine carrying that same stone for another year or another decade. What would happen to you?" The man looked at the stone in his hand and felt the weight of it more deeply. "I would be burdened forever. I would never be free." "Exactly," the monk replied. "This stone represents your anger, your hurt, your resentment. As long as you carry it, it will weigh you down. But the moment you let go of it, you will be free." The man understood. He had been carrying his pain, his past, like that stone. He had been letting it rule him, letting it decide how he would feel, how he would act. But now, he could see that forgiveness wasn't about the person who had hurt him. It wasn't about excusing what was wrong. It was about freeing himself from the pain that had been stuck inside him for so long. Forgiveness is not something that comes easily, especially when the wound feels deep and the hurt seems unforgivable. But it is only through forgiveness that we can truly free ourselves. We're not just releasing the other person from their wrongs. We are releasing ourselves from the chains that bind us to the past. When we forgive, we stop holding on to the pain. We stop letting it define us. We no longer allow someone else's actions to control our emotions, our thoughts, or our future. We step out of the prison we have created for ourselves. And in doing so, we find a freedom we never knew existed. Forgiveness is not a single event. It is a process. Sometimes, it takes time to let go of the anger, the bitterness, and the sadness. Sometimes we need to forgive more than once. It is not always easy, and it is not always immediate. But each time we choose to forgive, we move closer to peace. The Buddha taught that the greatest freedom comes not from external circumstances, but from our internal state of mind. When we forgive, we are choosing to let go of the past and live in the present moment. We are choosing to stop carrying a burden that we no longer need to bear. Forgiveness is not about forgetting what was done to us. It is about understanding that the past does not need to define who we are today. It is about letting go of the story we keep telling ourselves about how we were wronged, and choosing to write a new story, one where we are free, where we're not bound by the actions of others. This freedom is not just emotional. It is physical, mental, and spiritual. When we hold on to pain, it affects our health. It affects our relationships. It affects our ability to move forward in life. But when we forgive, we lighten our load. We create space for healing, for growth, and for joy. Forgiveness is not a gift we give to others. It is a gift we give to ourselves. It is a choice to stop living in the past and start living in the present. It is a decision to release the power that pain and resentment have over us. And it is the key to unlocking a life of peace, freedom, and happiness. As we walk this path, we will find that forgiveness is not just something we do once and forget. It is a practice, a way of life. Each day, we will encounter situations that challenge us to forgive. Each day, we will have the opportunity to choose peace over pain, freedom over bondage, love over anger. And with each choice, we will grow stronger, more compassionate, and more at peace. Forgiveness is the path to freedom. It is the path to peace. And it is the path that allows us to let go of the past and embrace the present with open hearts and minds. Remember, forgiveness does not mean that what was done to us was right. It simply means that we choose to let go of the pain and move forward. It is the most powerful thing we can do for ourselves. It is the key to breaking free from the cycle of hurt, anger, and suffering. And it is the way to live a life of true peace and happiness. Liberation from a cycle, ending the hurt for good. Now, we come to the final part of our journey, the ultimate truth. The pain, the wounds, the hurt, they all seem so real, don't they? It feels as if there is no end to the cycle. The world keeps turning, and each time someone hurts you, it feels as though you're pulled deeper into a web of suffering. And for what? Because someone said something? Because someone did something? Because someone just couldn't see you for who you are? But there's a truth you must understand, one that, once grasped, can bring you peace like never before. That truth is simple, yet profound. It's this: the cycle of hurt doesn't end because the world changes, but because you change. The real liberation begins not by altering the actions of others, but by shifting how you respond to them. You've already seen how pain comes when we hold on to it. Like holding on to a burning coal. It's painful, isn't it? But what if you simply let go of that coal? What if you stopped holding on to the things that hurt? What if you understood that pain is fleeting like a cloud in the sky? It appears, but it doesn't stay forever, unless you allow it to. Buddhism tells us that life is impermanent. Everything is constantly changing. Your pain is no different. It has its moment, it rises, it stays for a while, but it will pass. However, when we cling to it, when we define ourselves by our pain, we become stuck. The Buddha called this attachment. Attachment to suffering, attachment to hurt, attachment to the stories we tell ourselves about how wronged we've been. Imagine living without the weight of that attachment. Imagine releasing the constant need to defend yourself, to justify why you're hurt, to explain how unfair life has been. The moment you do that, you're free. The moment you stop trying to control what others do or say, you're free. You've let go of the coal. Now, I'm not asking you to forget. I'm not asking you to deny that pain exists. That's not the Buddhist way. Buddhism doesn't ask you to ignore the hurt. It simply asks you to stop identifying with it. The wound will still be there, but you don't need to carry it forever. You can acknowledge it and then let it go. It's not about pretending you don't feel. It's about not allowing the feeling to control you. Let's reflect on what we've learned. The cycle of suffering is rooted in the mind, the way we think, the way we react, the way we hold on to things. The Buddha showed us that freedom comes when we stop clinging to the idea that we shouldn't be hurt or that life should be fair. The moment you accept that the world will always have people who will hurt you, and that it's not your job to change them, you open the door to inner peace. This doesn't mean you become a doormat. This doesn't mean you stop setting boundaries. The Buddha wasn't passive. He was simply wise. He understood that peace isn't something you create by controlling everything around you. It's something you find by controlling your mind. Think of it this way. Every time someone hurts you, you are given an opportunity to practice compassion, not just toward the person who hurt you, but also toward yourself. Compassion isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the strength to let go of the urge to hurt back. It's the strength to stay calm, even when others are losing their heads. And what about forgiveness? Forgiveness is not something you do for the other person. It's something you do for yourself. When you forgive, you release yourself from the chains that hold you in suffering. You stop allowing the other person to control your emotional state. You forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Now, let's talk about true liberation. Freedom isn't found in the world changing to meet your expectations. Freedom is found when you change. When you stop needing others to act a certain way for you to be happy. When you stop defining yourself by what was said or done to you. When you start seeing yourself as the creator of your own peace. Liberation is about stopping the cycle of attachment, the cycle of hurt, and the cycle of suffering. It's about realizing that you hold the key to your own happiness. When you stop clinging to the idea that you need something outside of yourself to be happy, you'll find that the peace you've been searching for was already within you. Imagine waking up each day without the weight of past hurts. Imagine going through your day without being triggered by someone else's words. Imagine being free of that constant anxiety, the anger, and the bitterness. That's what Buddhism offers. That's what liberation is. But don't expect this to happen overnight. The Buddha taught that the path to liberation is gradual. It's a lifelong process of learning to let go, learning to see things as they truly are, not as you want them to be. It's a journey of mindfulness, meditation, and compassion. You've already taken the first step by watching this video. You've already made a choice to seek peace, to find a way out of the pain. Now you have the tools, you have the wisdom, and you have the power to change your own mind. Remember, Namo Buddhoi. This simple phrase means homage to the Buddha, and it is a reminder to stay grounded in the wisdom of the Buddha's teachings. It's a reminder that peace is not out there. It's in here, within you. Let the Buddha's teachings guide you toward the freedom and peace you deserve. You are capable of healing. You are capable of letting go. As you walk forward, remember that liberation comes not from others, but from yourself. And it is a beautiful, freeing thing. The cycle ends when you stop feeding it. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you find peace, may you find joy, and may you find the strength to let go of what no longer serves you. The journey is yours. The peace is yours.